This type of campaign always has the highest returns across all the companies that I work with. And if you're not using it, chances are you're leaving money on the table. See, most people have only one campaign advertising to total strangers. Most of the time, they expect people to watch one of their ads and take out their credit card and give it to them immediately. That's like asking the girl to marry you on the first date. Not only is it desperate, but it's also extremely expensive because not many of them are going to say yes. What you want to do instead, double down on the people you advertised to before. Own the attention you already paid for. That is called retargeting. It's showing targeted ads to people who already know you. That is the difference between a business that's barely breaking even and a business that prints money every day. My name is Elan. I'm the founder of adsimprove.com. I run retargeting campaigns across my clients, spending thousands every day. Without an exception, it's always the highest return campaign that they have. In this video, I'm going to share you first, why you need retargeting campaigns. Second, what makes a good retargeting campaign work. Third, I'm going to share with you how to create creatives specifically to retargeting campaigns. And lastly, I'm going to share a step-by-step tutorial on how to set up a retargeting campaign in your Facebook Ads Manager. First of all, what is retargeting? There are prospecting campaigns and there are retargeting campaigns. Prospecting is when you mostly show ads to people who didn't know you before, while retargeting is the opposite. It's showing targeted ads to people who interacted with you before. That's viewing one of your videos, viewing your Facebook or Instagram page, clicking on your website, viewing one of your specific products, for example. You most likely experienced this before. You go online to check out furniture, you like a specific couch in one color, you click it, maybe add it to cart, and then you don't buy it, but go on Instagram just a couple minutes later and the same couch comes up in your feed. That is retargeting. And when done right, it feels like the brand you just checked out is suddenly everywhere. So why do you need retargeting campaigns? After people who've never seen you before click on an ad from you and check out your website, but they don't buy, doesn't mean that they will never buy. Some will buy immediately, don't get me wrong. Some of those people will never buy, but a lot of the people who didn't buy immediately will buy eventually. If not from you, then from your competitors, especially if you never show up again. And that's the point of retargeting. Is to keep showing ads to people, providing different context about your product or service, maybe testimonials, until they are ready to buy. Luckily, this tends to be cheap on Meta because the audience is quite small, depending on your size, and they are easy to reach because you know them. And because of these reasons, without a doubt, this will be one of the highest return campaigns that you will ever turn on in your ads manager. And that brings us to point number 2, what makes a good retargeting campaign work? Good advertising uses human behavior to its advantage. Retargeting campaigns take advantage of people's desire to be consistent. There was a study in the US when a group of researchers went door knocking in a really nice neighborhood and asked people to put up a large billboard 6 feet by 3 feet on their front lawn that says, "Drive carefully." Unsurprisingly, not many of them agreed to this. Only 17% agreed to put up this billboard on their front lawn. But with making one seemingly insignificant change to this request, they were able to get 76% of people to agree to this request. And here's how. 2 weeks before this large request, they asked people to put up a really small, seemingly insignificant, even hard to see sign on their window that says, "Be a safe driver." Now, because this request was so small, almost all of the people agreed. And 2 weeks later, when it came time to ask them the same request, by the way, in the same neighborhood, 76% of them agreed to put up a large billboard on their front lawn because that would mean that they are consistent with their actions. And if they were to refuse this request, they would be inconsistent with their previous behavior of supporting safe driving in the neighborhood. With retargeting, you can get more people to buy your products or services by appealing to their desire to stay consistent. They already viewed your page. Now remind them that the next natural step is to buy. That brings us to point number 3. What creatives should you use for your retargeting campaigns? A good retargeting campaign meets people where they are at. that it's personalized. Most of the time, it will be offer driven and quite short, both your creative and your copy. These people only need just a little push to buy because they've already considered purchasing from you before. Use phrases that frame taking action as the next natural step. For example, you checked out our website but didn't buy. Click here to reserve your spot before the program fills up. This also gives you a great opportunity to handle objections. For example, you checked out the website but didn't buy. I suspect this is because you find it too expensive, and then you would go on to handle the objection. Meet your audience where they are at their customer journey. Make your ads personalized to them, whatever that step may be. If you don't know what creatives to use for your retargeting campaigns or any campaigns in general, I put together 101 winning ads from popular brands and made them into a free customizable template that you can download from the description below. Now the last question remains how to actually put the campaign together step by step. Here's how to do it. Here we are in our example ad account, and the way you set up retargeting campaigns is you actually start with your audience, so you don't start with your campaigns. What you want to do is set up two types of audiences. I like to make a difference between warm audience and hot audience. Warm audience is somebody who's just a general engager. So here you can see every website visitor within the last 30 days, every Instagram or Facebook page engager in the last 90 days. Now, the second type of audience is hot audience. These are the people who took specific actions, viewed specific landing pages. For example, they viewed landing page 1, and typically these audiences are a much shorter time frame. In this case, you can see 7 days. The reason I like to make a difference is because you want more specific messages for your hot audience. The way you set up the campaigns themselves is you create either a sales or a lead campaign based on what your goal is. On the campaign level, I use ad set budget, and I never share my budget across ad sets. This is because I like more control over my ads generally. Now, the real magic happens with targeting campaigns on the ad set level. What I want you to do is name your ad set. In this case, I will name it warm according to the audience that you're going to target. Obviously, you would set up your conversion events, but the most important part for retargeting campaigns happens on the audience sections, unsurprisingly. What you want to do is click on further limit the reach of your ads. All this does is allows you to fully take control of your targeting. Under custom audiences, you want to select the audience that you want to retarget. In this case, warm audiences. You can exclude people from this audience, specifically your hot audiences. You might want to exclude them, although I generally don't tend to care about this because your retargeting audience is small by definition. And the really important thing that you want to do is uncheck this box. You do not want this as a suggestion. All this does, if you leave this on, is allows Meta to go on and find random people. And the problem with that is your retargeting creatives won't make sense for them. For your warm audience, creatives that you want to use are just what I told you previously. So shorter messages, typically offer driven, talking more about the details of your product, the benefits, and not the benefits themselves, but what those benefits mean to those people. So if you are selling weight loss, you wouldn't say your product uses, I don't know, XYZ vitamin to do whatever. You would say it helps you lose fat, obviously in a more detailed way. For hot retargeting audiences, basically, you just want to duplicate current setup, obviously name this as hot according to the audience that you want to reach, and only include relevant audiences, in this case, hot. In your creative, big difference is that for hot retargeting audiences, you want to use messaging that is specific to what action they took. You would probably use a creative that says, for example, I saw you checked out our program but didn't buy. This obviously you cannot do with your general warm audience. One extra thing that I highly recommend is to handle objections within these creatives using the example from before. I saw you checked out this program but didn't buy. I suspect this is because you find it too expensive, and then you would go on and handle this objection. That type of personalization you want to include because you rarely get a chance to do it in advertising because you're always talking to large audiences. But in this case, you know what actions they took, and you really want to leverage their desire to be consistent. So that's how you set up retargeting campaigns in your ads manager. Really, it's nothing too complicated, but this campaign will probably be highest return campaign that you will ever run. And the good thing about these campaigns is that you really need to set it up once and only check it ever so often, because the audience constantly changes, so you don't need to refresh the creatives as much, of course, given that you have good performing creatives. So now you understand why retargeting campaigns are important to maximize your returns, and you also know how to set them up in Ads Manager. But most importantly, you now know the psychology that makes it work. If you want to convert more people into buyers for the same amount of money, use retargeting. This campaign also has its limitation, and that will be the size of your retargeting audience. So it should be used along with your prospecting campaign. The actual revenue you generate from your retargeting campaigns can be then reinvested into improving your ads so that you can scale your campaigns even further. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit subscribe if you want to see more just like this.